Hey everyone, welcome to Logan's Mosh Pit. Glad to have you here. Do me a favor and please subscribe if you haven't already. Gather round, bookworms, because the time has come for a new episode of Rock and Read. Today I will treat you to Chapter 23 and Chapter 24 of Iron Man, written by the riffmaster from Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi. Chapter 23 is called An Antipodean Mystery. Here we go. In January 1971, we flew to Adelaide to headline the My Ponga Open Air Festival. We were lured into doing this by the promoter, who said, "Why don't you come and stay for a week's holiday? All expenses paid." Really great for us. We got there, and he turned out to be a very generous host. He said to us, "While you're here, whatever you want." We wanted caviar and champagne. It was over the top. There were 4 limousines at our disposal, and on top of that, he gave each of us a brand new car. He said, for you to use in case you want to drive anywhere yourselves and have a look around. The wrong thing to do. We decided to go down to the beach to have a race along the water's edge. One of the cars got stuck. I tried to tow it out, and I got stuck. Then the tide came in. As the water got closer, we started to panic. We got these oars off this bloke's boat, and we were trying to get them under the wheels. Broke both his oars. No matter what we did, the cars couldn't be moved. We watched helplessly as finally the water covered both cars. I phoned the promoter up and told him what had happened. He took it in his stride and sent a truck to tow them out. Of course, the cars were completely knackered. In the run-up to the festival, I did some radio interviews, and at one of them I said, "Oh, we're very lonely. We could do with some women here." Live, on air. And what happened? Loads of girls turned up at the hotel. Me and Patrick Meehan ended up with this one girl in our room, and then she passed out. Meehan went, "She's lifeless." Oh. I thought. She's lifeless. She's lifeless. I could see the headlines. Girl found lifeless in hotel room with 2 guys. I just thought, they'll think it's us. Meehan went, "We gotta get rid of her. We gotta get rid of her." His idea was to throw her off the balcony and say that she had fallen off it. We were really high up. The thought of it now is absolutely frightening, but in my panic, I went along with it. We got her to the balcony. We were trying to pick her up, and then she came round. Bloody hell, she's alive! She was probably high, but we could quite easily have just tossed her off there, and I would have become a 22-year-old prisoner. "But, Your Honor, she was lifeless already." I bet that girl doesn't even know what happened. I'll probably be arrested now. She will read this book and come out of the woodwork. Yes, there he is. It was Meehan. It was Meehan. Such a shame, really. It was a big festival. Everything there went great, and the promoter looked after us like you wouldn't believe. We later heard he went bust. I wonder why. Well, that concludes Chapter 23, so why don't we transition to Chapter 24. Chapter 24 is called Flying Fish. Here we go. In February 1971, we started our second tour of America. It was great. Also thanks to our friends from Mountain. They were a good band. They treated us well. I really liked their guitar player, Leslie West. Still do. I once said to him, "I really like the sound you're getting. I love the guitar. He looked and found me a Gibson that was the same as his. He came over to England and gave it to me, but it was stolen. You have a break for a while, and your guitars go into storage somewhere. I had about 4 guitars go from storage once, and that was one of them. Leslie's guitar going, that broke my heart. It was on this tour that we first stayed at the Los Angeles Hyatt, better known as the Riot, where we met our first groupies. We didn't really know about that. In Europe, the women weren't as forward as in America. As soon as we walked into reception at the Hyatt, these girls came up to us saying, "How are you? Are you from England?" Before we knew it, everybody had a girl. We couldn't believe it. Blimey, is this what America is like? And then later, you'd see them again, with somebody else. We were like, so that's what they call a groupie. In Seattle, we stayed at the infamous Edgewater Hotel, where you could fish out of the window. The hotel was built on stilts and leaned over the water. You could get a fishing line at reception so that you could fish out of the window. And that's what we used to do. I don't know why, really. Ozzy was fishing out of the window once and caught a shark, which he put in the bath while we did the gig. Of course, it didn't make it, because the thing was as long as the bath, and sharks have to move to breathe. Ozzy then proceeded to cut it up. Blood and were everywhere. He tried to... I don't know what he was doing. Bill was below my room, and he had his window open. I caught this shark. It dangled on my line, and I swung it into Bill's room. He was very surprised. Not pleasantly, but very surprised. To have a bloody shark come flying through your window. Ah! He threw it out of the window back into the sea, but the room smelled of fish from then on. Actually, all the room smelled of fish. You couldn't wash the floor down or anything. It was all carpeted. I don't know what they expected their guests to do with the fish they caught. Another time we tied the line to one of the standard lamps there. We left, came back later, and the standard lamp was gone. Gone out the window. So we picked up the bill for that one. During the last tour we did with Sabbath, when we were in Seattle, me and Bill went down to the Edgewater again, just for old time's sake. They showed us around, there was a Zeppelin room, and they were doing a Sabbath room as well. In the early days, there were only certain hotels that allowed bands in, because of the reputation that everybody had. But now, we stay all the time at the Ritz-Carltons and the Four Seasons, the top hotels. And at 60 plus years old, we don't throw televisions out of windows anymore. Can't pick 'em up now. Well, that wraps up chapter 24. Let me know what you thought of both chapters in the comments below. That does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Till then, rock on.